What's up, you guys? Hey, y'all. Hey. Alright, I'm trying to make sure my phone doesn't fall out of the case because it's in the case that I was using for the last phone that I had, and it still kind of fits, but it's not snug, so it kind of like falls out. But I've got a case on the way. I ordered it from eBay. But anyways, so welcome back to the channel, y'all. Hey. Today I'm just going to be kind of going over a couple of questions that I received about Arise. There are a lot of you guys that have been responding to my videos. Oh man, like the first video I ever posted about Arise, right after I did certification, which was almost 2 years ago, has been getting so many views and has so many comments below, and I appreciate all of you guys for supporting that video, along with the line of videos that I've posted about Arise since then. It just shows me that there are a lot of people out there that are looking for different ways that they can make money from home. There are a lot of work from home moms, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads that would like to earn an income without having to be restricted to a certain time frame. Like, for example, having to work a certain amount of hours, like going in at 8 o'clock, getting off at 4, or going in at 9, getting off at 5, because they have a lot of other things going on, such as myself. Like, I have a child where it's required for someone to be home at a certain time to get her off the bus, or else if no one's home, they take her back to the school, and if no one comes pick her up at a certain time, then they have to reach out to DFACS, Child Protective Services, all that other kind of stuff. So over the last year, almost 2 years, I've managed to become a work from home mom working with the Arise platform, and it's been great. I have no complaints, you guys. I love the flexibility in the schedule because I can pretty much make my own schedule based on everything else that's going on in my life. So if I have like doctor's appointments, or Olivia has doctor and dentist appointments, I can schedule my hours around those. If she has something going on at school, I can schedule myself around that. If I need to take a day where I need to go to the store and I know it's going to take me a while, then I can schedule around that. Anything to make life a little bit easier for me. And that's what I love the most about working for Arise, is the flexibility in scheduling your own hours, or intervals as we call them. So about 5 months ago, and I had to go back and look at all of the videos that I posted about Arise, because what I don't want to do is make Arise like a redundant type of thing to you guys. And at one point I was kind of feeling like it was like, okay, I'm always making a video about this, about this particular platform, and I'm always telling you guys about it. But the truth is, the only reason I share that information with you guys is to inspire somebody else that is in maybe the same position that I was in, or that can relate to needing a more flexible schedule and needing to be at home with their kids, that sort of thing, because there are a lot of parents out there like that. And I was out before all of this started. Before I became a work from home mom, I was in between jobs. I had a hard time trying to find a job that would work with my schedule. There were a lot of jobs that would not hire me because they wanted me to work during the daytime, where I would get off at 4 or 5 o'clock. Well, that was an issue for me because I needed to be at the house to get my daughter off the bus because my husband would be at work. So I wouldn't get the job. And then there were cases where there was a lot of jobs looking for a specific time frame that they wanted you to work. So they would say they were kind of flexible, but then at the end of the day, they weren't really flexible. You know what I mean? And so trying to do that, it just wasn't working out. And so I was introduced to this platform by a family member who is an independent business owner. Him and his wife have been running their business for more than 6 years now, working with other CSPs like myself to gain income and have a flexible schedule. And it's been great. I don't have any complaints about any of it. Now, I have noticed some of your comments. Some of you guys are not too happy with your independent business owners. The communication sucks. Maybe they're not paying you and stuff like that. And that's very unfortunate. And that's just there's really no excuse for it, to be honest with you. I feel like if you're serious about starting a business and working your business, that you have to put certain systems in place in order for all of your CSPs to be happy, and make yourself happy as well. Communication is a big key, because there's a lot of questions about technical issues, things like that. Now, some of the questions IBOs cannot answer, when it comes to like download different programs that you're going to be using with the client that you're servicing for. Some questions can't be answered. Those have to be answered by Arise support. And that's understandable. But like simple questions like, how much do I get paid? And, you know, uh, when will we get paid? That type of stuff. I feel like your IBO should be able to answer that question. And if they're not able to answer that question, give you an honest response instead of just ignoring you. And I have been seeing that in the comments. People have a bad taste in their mouth about Arise, not because of Arise itself, but because of the IBO that they're registered under. So which leads up to the first question that I had about that. I had a comment where somebody was saying that they wanted to switch IBOs. Now, as time go on, I am learning more and more about the IBO side of it and how Arise works and things like that. The thing is that Arise is the type of company that only partners with other established companies. So if you are a CSP and you have an IBO who you don't really care to work with anymore, the unfortunate part is that Arise can't really do too much about it. You have to kind of take that up with the IBO or independent business owner that you registered under. And what you have to do is ask them to release you, basically. And depending on how their business is set up, they may tell you, oh, you have to work a certain amount of SOWs, or you have to do this and do that first, and then I'll release you, that sort of thing. It just depends, because every business practice is going to be different with every IBO, and every business format that they have set up for their business is going to be different for every IBO, if that makes sense. So the best way to handle that is, if you want to switch IBOs, the best way to go about it is to wait until your SOW is almost up, and then ask your IBO to release you. And SOW means statement of work. So wait until your statement of work is almost up, so that when it comes the time where they have to sign your statement of work, then they're not signing it. They're releasing you at a time frame where you're not having to completely start all the way over again, because that was another concern. Like, well, if I ask my IBO to release me, will I have to go through certification and all of that type of stuff again? And that is a possibility if you don't do it at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Request to be released at the right time. So that's that question. So the next question that I had was flexibility in the schedules. Can I work more than one client? And that whole shebang. So, and I had to really think about the question, because what I don't want to do is tell you guys the wrong thing or encourage you to do something that you can't do, and then it messes you up. I don't want that responsibility, you know what I'm saying, of something going wrong for you. So I had to think about it, and I had to do my research on it. And here's what I'm going to say to that. To each his own. If you want to work or service more than one client, by all means do so. However, make sure that the way you're doing it is efficient and effective for you, okay? I say that because what you don't want to do is, you don't want to start servicing one client and then you go through certification and start making your schedule for another client, and then your intervals start overlapping, and then now you're having to figure out which one you're going to do for that day. You're having to be stuck with choosing which one, which intervals are you going to release or swap. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get into that predicament where the two are clashing. If you're going to work more than one client, the best thing to do is start with one client first. Come up with a schedule that you would like to work throughout the week. That way, when you start the second client, then you already know what your schedule is going to be with the first client. So then you can kind of choose your schedule around your life and the first client, okay? Because you don't want them all to start clashing, and then you find yourself getting into a predicament where you have to, like I said, release or swap hours all the time, or you're not meeting your commitment adherence, and things like that. Because it's a good idea, but you just have to be mindful of when you go into the Starmatic for each client and you're choosing your hours. I think that works best for someone who maybe doesn't have anything else to do. Maybe you're only servicing the one client, and then you've got mad free time throughout the rest of the day because maybe you don't have children or anything like that, because you want to find a balance. You don't want to always just be working, and then your home life starts to be neglected and things like that, because there is a such thing as working too much, especially when you have kids. But if you don't have those type of responsibilities, where you don't have a husband or you don't have any children, you're not in school, college or anything like that, and you just have ample time throughout the day to work as much as you want to, then by all means go for it. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you're like scheduling your hours, what you're going to work for this particular client based on what's available, and then what you would like to work with another particular client. Always, when you go to the Arise platform, always click on the info button, because it gives you the details as far as what hours that they're open to. Like, for example, the client that I service is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I have all the way from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. to choose whatever hours that are available that I want to work. So check that part of the information too. Like, just read the details, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, and then you find yourself getting into a bind as far as making your schedule. So another question that was asked to me was about being an entity, as far as like an LLC and having an EIN number and things of that nature. So I'm not gonna say the person that made the comments name, but generally speaking, like I said earlier, Arise only partners with other businesses. So for example, if you have an LLC established and it's an active LLC, and you want to register as that LLC and be your own CSP, then you can do that. Now, but make sure that that LLC kind of goes with what you're going to be doing. So for this particular comment, they have a cleaning service and LLC established, and they wanted to know if they can use that cleaning service. Well, I'm just thinking for like tax purposes and stuff like that. Cleaning service and call center, virtual call centers don't really tie together. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, if I had a cleaning service that had an LLC attached to it, and the services that I'm offering are cleaning services, I wouldn't necessarily use that as a virtual call center type of business. Like, my LLC is Lindsey Life Connections, and the LLC, and the reason why I chose that name is so that I can also use it as an umbrella for other things that I want to do. So I can use it for Arise, I can use it for eBay, because basically the whole idea of that name is to connect others with different opportunities, right? It's not focused on just one thing, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So if you want to establish a new LLC and offer call center services and customer service type of thing, I would listed under that when you're choosing your it's like this little number code or whatever that you're choosing when you're creating your LLC, and there's like a code with the different top subjects that it covers, or titles that it covers as you're choosing it. Me personally, I wouldn't necessarily use a cleaning service LLC as my LLC for Arise. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. To each his own. If you feel comfortable doing that, then you know it is what it is. We all grown. You know what I'm saying? I had made a comment like videos ago that you can sign directly up under Arise as a CSP. Disregard that information. I think I've come back with another video saying that I misspoke on that, and so I'm speaking it again. You cannot sign directly up under Arise as a CSP. The only time you can sign directly up under Arise is if you're an established entity. So if you have an LLC. When I signed up, registered with Arise, my LLC wasn't even, you know, in the picture yet. I created that along the way. So that's why I'm still registered as an ESP, rather than being registered as my business. You would have to register up under an established LLC, and there is a list that's available on the Arise platform of different LLCs that are active and that have CSPs up under them. I think it's called the Premier list or something like that. You can find an IBO that way, as well as if you go back to a couple of my videos, I also mentioned the IBO that I am currently up under, so you can do that. If you go to the Facebook page for Arise, you're honestly, the moment that you type in and say, hey, I'm looking for an IBO, you're gonna get like attacked with 1,000, and I'm exaggerating, but a whole lot of IBOs that are looking for CSPs, and before you know it, all of them are going to be commenting under your video, under your post. If you do that, do your due diligence, have a conversation with these people to see if their business is right for you or if you're right for their business, because it works both ways. Like, for example, I don't want to hire a bunch of CSPs that aren't going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because the idea is for them to make money so that I can make money too, and vice versa. So do your due diligence, do your research, ask a bunch of questions in that regard when it's come to finding an independent business owner, because that's who processes your payroll. Okay, let's just keep it real. It's a trust factor when you're doing business with a business. You know, you have to trust that they have, you know, good integrity, and that, you know, they have that they practice good business practices, if that make any sense. So one more question. Oh, actually, that was all of the questions. So really quick and simple, you guys, nothing major. These are very good questions that you guys have been asking. I try to go and respond to the questions in the comment box. Sometimes I don't catch them all, but for the most part, a lot of them are generally the same questions, like, you know, how do I get started and what type of equipment do I need and all of that type of stuff. Please refer back to past videos that I've posted. I have a whole playlist called Making Money from Home. Go through that playlist and just take a look at all of the Arise videos that I've posted. And I wish you guys the best. For those of you who's been messaging me on Facebook and telling me that, hey, I'm in certification class, or hey, I start certification class next week, or I'm almost done. You guys, keep up the great work. Stay motivated. Stay inspired, because and keep the big picture in mind, which is you want to make more money with more flexibility of your schedule, right? So keep your eye on a prize with that, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.